Welcome everyone, and welcome to the Racing for Recovery holiday special that we have put together for you. During this time of year, I know it can be hard, and especially when you're trying to get your life together. So we thought it would be really cool to put something together for everybody to get a little bit of knowledge from everybody on the staff here at Racing for Recovery. So I'm going to be your host tonight. My name is Chef Dean, and I'm going to be putting together some cutout cookies for you. And if you didn't know, now you do know, Racing for Recovery is a full plant-based facility, so I'm going to teach you how to make sugar cutout cookies with plant ingredients only. All right, so let's get this party rolling, and we've got some special guests for you tonight. They're going to chime in, and they're going to share some other tips and things that we do around here at Racing for Recovery. But for right now, we're going to get started baking these cookies. Actually, we're going to be mixing the dough for the cookies before we bake the cookies. So for our ingredients today, we're going to start out, we've got some softened plant butter. And then we've got about 3/4 of a cup of sugar. We've got a little bit of almond milk with vanilla mixed in it, some baking powder, and some cornstarch with some salt. And there's a little method to putting all this together. You want to, that's the one thing about baking. It's more of a science. I guess you could even say it's like getting your life together almost. You start out with this amazing dough, and without working it and kneading it and all of them good things, it's just dough. Right here, we're going to roll with some all-purpose flour. That's going to be the main star of the dough. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead here. I'm going to lift this KitchenAid up, and I'm going to go ahead and pop this softened butter in there. And you can get, plant butter, any grocery stores. It's a very common thing. It's really good. You can get it salted, unsalted. This is unsalted because, like I showed you in this one, we are going to add our own little salt. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and combine the butter and the sugar. And I'm going to go ahead, make sure you always lock your blender in because you don't want it flying up, shooting things all over. And we're going to go ahead and just roll it at a medium pace. And we're going to really get all that sugar and butter and get it all incorporated really good. And once it starts to look a little bit fluffy, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a little bit of almond milk, and we're going to add that vanilla extract that's in there too. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my blender down a little bit just so I don't slop it all over the place. One thing about it, I might be the chef, but I promise you, I got to clean my own mess. So now that we've added that, we're just going to turn the blender back up a little bit, let it do its thing, mix everything incorporated. And that's another thing I want to say about baking is this: you don't want to rush the process, but you also don't want to overmix the dough and all that. So you got to time everything pretty perfect. So next thing we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and shut the blender off, unlock it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my flour to it. So go ahead and get that flour all in there. And now what I do is with my cornstarch and salt, I'm going to put that right on top of the flour, right in the bowl. Then I'm also going to go ahead and add my baking powder right now. Go ahead and mix that in there. And once again, make sure your mixer is all locked in. And I'm going to go on a low speed this time until that flour really gets incorporated, because if I was to turn it on a medium-high speed, I'd have flour everywhere, and yeah, Todd probably wouldn't be happy. But then again, he probably would because he gets to eat the dough. So now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn my mixer up a little bit, because I really want that butter and flour and all them dry ingredients to really get incorporated to this. And what I'm shooting for is I don't want this dough to totally form in the bowl. That's where a little bit, even like you could call it stress relief, comes a little bit, because I'm going to form this dough once all the ingredients are almost like about the size of peas in there. I want it all looking really crumbly, and then I'm going to mix the rest by hand. We're going to give it a a little bit more there. So now, to make sure I got everything off my paddle, I kind of lift it up a little bit while it's still on. I recommend don't put your hands in there, it wouldn't feel too good. And then once I get to that point, I'm gonna go ahead, give it a little tap. And now I've got a nice mixture in here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scrape my sides with my hands, and I'm just gonna start working this dough almost like making a dough ball with it. You know, that's why in baking, once again, it's very crucial that you measure out everything to where it's precise. You know, it's not like working on the saute grill where a little pinch of this, a little pinch of that. You know, you want to stick to the fundamentals of what the recipe is to get your best results. So now that I've got this just about incorporated, I'm going to pull it up here and I'm going to show you the dough ball that is coming about here. But you know, it's starting to come together really good here. I'm going to give it a couple more little kneads here in the bowl. And now, when I pull it out, now you can see that we have got ourselves a nice sugar cookie dough ball here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a couple pieces of parchment paper down, and I'm going to go ahead and roll this out. And what I'm going to do, now I'm going to send it over to Joey in the gym, and Joey's going to kind of give you some demonstrations of how and what kind of workouts you can do to try and burn off some of these extra calories from the holiday season. So Joey, what you got for us?
Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. So Santa's here to show you how to work off these gains that you just got from this delicious meal that Dean just prepped for you. We're going to go through a different type of workout. We're going to keep our heart rate up and focus on reps, a little lighter weight, pump them out, control, stay safe. So we're going to start out with the incline bench. As you notice, the incline's a little higher than the previous video of the incline bench. That's going to incorporate more front delt, get the shoulder workout on top of the chest workout also. And we'll start out good wider grip. Make sure your wrists are stacked. Lock out and go for 15 to 20 reps. Pump them out. Now remember, it's not all about the form, but you still want to keep control of the weight. So we're going to go straight into chest supported rows. Grab a weight you can manage. Bench is set up at 45 degrees. Let that weight stretch your back out. Pull up to your hips. Squeeze that back together. That full contraction and that full stretch. And remember, you want to keep your heart rate up. So go straight into the next exercise. Grab your easy bar, lighter weight, pump them out. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go into standing dumbbell lateral raises. These, you want to bring them in front of you, chest up, slight lean forward, and push the weight out to the corners of the room. Imagine you're pouring milk out. You're twisting it, pour that milk out. Keep the lats on top. Don't let them come back or too far forward. And that's a good full upper body. You could throw in like push-ups in between sets, sit-ups, body squats, anything like that. Keep your heart rate up. Now back to Dean for some more awesome food.
All right, guys, we're back, and I'll tell you what, I'm sweating just from looking at that workout that man just did. Let's go ahead and give it up for Joey. Joey's one of our special personal trainers around here. He does a phenomenal job with keeping people safe and showing them how the correct techniques of how to work out and utilize your body in a gym. So good on you, Joey. Keep going, buddy. So now back to what we're going to do. As before we went on our break, I had put the dough together, and the dough came out beautiful. And one thing I wanted to make sure is when I rolled this dough out, I set out a couple pieces of parchment paper, and I rolled the dough out on this to help it prevent sticking, because I went ahead and put it in the refrigerator and let it refrigerate for about a half hour. So now I've got a nice firm dough here that's nice and chilled, so we can go ahead and get to having some fun and putting these cookies together. And you know what, I know in the beginning of this, I kind of put something together how, your life could be kind of like a piece of dough. And without a little bit of guidance and all that, it's kind of, you find yourself just a piece of dough. And that's how I can kind of put that analogy, just compare, your life to a piece of dough. It could be flat with nothing, or, you could be cut out looking like a flashy reindeer with all kinds of sprinkles on it and just enjoying life. So, something to think about. So now we're going to get into this. I rolled my dough out to about 1/4 inch, okay, because that's going to give us a nice fluffy cookie when it's all said and done. And what I'm going to do is I've got an assortment of cookie cutters here. You can pick them up anywhere. It's kind of cool. I got a lot of them at home that were from about the 1940s and stuff that my great-grandmother passed down through generation to generation. So I'm sure a lot of you could probably relate to something like that. But I'm going to go ahead and we'll pick these ones out. And I figured, we'd go with a nice little bell here. And what you're going to do, I've got just some all-purpose flour here. I go ahead and I just kind of give it a little dip here. And I'm just going to go ahead and place it on his dough here and go ahead and push it on in. And you're going to repeat this process, and by all means, go ahead, have some fun with it. And hey, we'll go ahead and pick the star, just like me. And we'll go ahead and put this on here. We'll go ahead and push it down. I tell you, growing up doing this when I was a kid, I can't stress to you guys how many core memories and stuff that is just such a positive thing, And I find myself the other night, we were doing these at home with my kids. And it's like, to really see the full effect of how it affected me, I'm just, it melts my heart to know that I'm providing this for my children now so they could share these same things with their children someday. So, all in all, that's why I chose to show you guys how to make some cutout cookies, because it's an excellent thing to do as a family. And this time of year, it can be hard, especially when you're in the rebuilding stage of your life. It's one thing I'll share with everybody watching is, yes, I've been a chef for a long time, but some of you may not know that I used to be a client here at Racing for Recovery. I came in here, a piece of dough that needed some work. And look at me now. I'm showing you guys how to make some sugar cookies, enjoy some family core memories, and I continue to work on rebuilding my life every day. So there's a lot of pros to this, I guess you could say. We'll go with the snowflake here. I tell you, when it comes to what we just watched there from Joey with the working out and all that, guys, I tell you, moving your body and getting some exercise in, whether it's just walking, it's a fundamental thing to try and get a habit of doing, because the better you make, you can make yourself feel about your body, you build your self-worth. I mean, it's just all around a good thing. Okay, I try to stay as active as I can. I work up a sweat making cookies. What can I say? We'll go ahead and make Santa's sleigh here. But this is the fundamentals of building new family traditions, but it's also a way to incorporate a way of doing them when you're in recovery, trying to get sober, all of them good things. You know, I know it's part of me growing up. Hey, my mom and everybody was all about the wine and laughing and all that. Well, I had to find a way to still enjoy doing something like this without the wine and but still have the laughter and the fun and all the good stuff that comes along with it, just without the misery. See here. I think we got enough room here. This looks like for the angel. We'll go ahead and set the angel on the side here. Go ahead and push down. So now you can see I've got the full dough with all my cutters in there. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start pulling them up. And if they come out, it's no biggie at all. You just kind of peel the dough out from around it. But if not, you just go ahead and give it a little push. And there you have it. There's a nice raw cookie dough bell. You just go ahead and set this on a piece of parchment paper. Go ahead and set your oven to 350 degrees because that's what we're going to bake these ones at. And once again, I'm going to go back to the analogy of, you know, dough is like your life. Here we go. We're putting the work in and it's starting to turn into something. And it started out with that and a couple other ingredients, you know, so it's really a neat thing. All right, guys, so I got my first round here, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of just pull all these together, and I'm going to repeat the process. Here in a minute, we're going to have a little discussion with Mr. Shane. Shane is one of our super awesome case managers here at Racing for Recovery, and he's going to go over some of the do's and don'ts that we do when we're in group here at Racing for Recovery, and I guess it could apply really to any group, you know. One other fun fact about Shane. Shane is an Ironman himself. The man has done, I can't give you the exact number, but it's up there. It's probably about 7 or 8, somewhere in that ballpark. But another fun fact, Shane was a client when I was a client. And to see the growth in him, I think it's amazing. I think he does a wonderful job. He cares. And he's got a great sense of humor. So there I made the goofy candy cane, flattened it down a little bit. So there we go, guys. I got my oven at 350 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these in there. And Mr. Shane, I'm going to turn it over to you, sir.
Hi, Matt.
Shane, what's up, big dog? What are you doing?
What's happening, man?
When do you get out of group, man?
Another 30 minutes or so.
Are they just going on and on and on again?
Just on and on, man. You won't believe what so-and-so said. I'll have to tell you after.
All right, dog. Hit me up later then, all right, bro?
Yup, will do, man. Later.
All right, peace.
Sorry. Had to take that. summon thee.
All right, guys, we are back. Now let's thank Shane there. That was some pretty insightful information that you gave us there, man. We appreciate it. And now we're going to get back to the cookies. And as you guys can see, I went ahead and I baked these at 350 degrees, but I'm going to give you Chef Dean's tip of the week. When it comes to baking, always remember, every oven is different. Okay, so a lot of your instructions and stuff that people give you says bake it such and such degrees for such and such minutes. Well, with not every oven being the same, sometimes that could lead to an utter failure right there. So what I do is I go off the sight, smell, and feel tip, okay? You know, when it comes to the cookies and stuff, that's more of a smell and look. Your muffins, cakes, all that, hey, you give it a little touch, and if it bounces back like a sponge, then that's a pretty good indicator that it's done. So that's your tip of the week of the baking tip. So anyways, as you can see, I've got a nice golden brown edge on all these cookies here. And we're gonna go ahead and let these cool, but I wanted to share something else with you guys. Earlier in the week, me and a few volunteers, we baked off about 350 of these awesome cookies. And we distributed them out in one of our mental health groups that we do here, because guys, honestly, sobriety is more about this not doing drugs and alcohol. Okay, it's about the community. It's about building good, solid, pure, relationships, all that stuff. And that's a very core element of fixing yourself on your journey. So I'm gonna go ahead and cool these. And before I do that, I'm gonna send this one over to the original sober triathlete, Mr. Todd Crandall.
Hey everybody, Todd Crandall, the original sober triathlete, giving you a holiday message. So, question to start this off: how does it feel to be able to spend either your first awesome sober holiday season, or you're a repeat customer of just embracing how awesome this time of year is? A lot of times in recovery, for people coming into treatment for the first time, we hear constantly, oh, the holidays are going to be tough. You know, my loved one died a few years ago. I always struggle during this time of the year. And people are usually not doing well when they can do better than they ever thought. So it starts with a mindset. If you tell yourself the holidays are going to be bad and tough, they're going to be. However, if you can say to yourself with pride, I'm not using drugs or alcohol this holiday season, this is going to be different for me, I'm going to start changing my life, and the holidays are going to be a beautiful thing for me to experience, then you're on to something different. And that's what we do here at Racing for Recovery. If you have chosen yourself and you are not drinking during this glorious time of year, you did yourself the best thing you can do to kick off 2025 in the right manner. Be proud of yourself. If you are having a hard time emotionally, reach out to somebody. Come to the Racing for Recovery support group meeting. Join the live stream. Be a part of active people who are going through the exact same thing that you are. Learn from each other, support each other, and we'll see you here whenever you need to come here.
All right, guys, the time has come for the star of the show. But first, I want to give a big special thanks to Todd for all that powerful stuff he just shared with us on enjoying the holidays and sobriety. I also want to thank Joey and Shane again for being a part of this. And it's just a really awesome thing that we do here at Racing for Recovery, all the way down to decorating cookies, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick, we said the star of the show, so let's go ahead and decorate this beautiful golden brown star here. You can get all these ingredients and decorations and everything from any of your local grocery stores, guys. This is just a fun way to show you that even you can eat plant-based and be vegan and enjoy these kind of fundamental things that come along with the holidays. So, okay guys, we got some Racing for Recovery green here. We're going to go around the edges of our star. And you can just go nice and slow. And the fun thing about doing this at Christmas time with the kids and everything is, there's no perfect way to do it. It's all about enjoying the moment of being with your children, your family, your friends, and most of all, doing it sober. So we'll go ahead, go like that. All right. And why not throw some Racing Black in there? And then we'll top it off here with some racing white. And you know what? We're not done there. We'll go ahead and go with a few of the sprinkles just to kind of give it that holiday crunch, we'll call it. I like, let's see here, go with these ones. And like I said, guys, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. Use your imagination, get creative, maybe even find a little bit of passion in doing something like this, and you never know where it could lead. Alright guys, so we've talked about some working out, we've talked about some guidelines, we've talked about sobriety, and now I'm going to teach you a little bit about TV magic. You ready for this one? And voila, just like that, TV magic. So look guys, I really appreciate you taking the time to hear us and hear some good insight from everybody and see a little bit of what we do here at Racing for Recovery on a daily. Right now, you know, the best part of baking the cookies and decorating the cookies, I said it earlier, is all about enjoying the cookies. So, with that being said, you know, this wouldn't be right for me to sit up here and eat all the cookies, so I'm going to bring the crew up here, who has all made this a special part, and I want everybody to partake in eating one of these cookies. So everybody, come on up. Help yourself. Make sure I get the best looking one. There you go. Thank you, sir. There you go.
I'll do the star.
Is that the Motley Crue star?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, once again, guys, thank you very much. And just remember, if you're looking to better your life out there and you want to make some better choices in life, reach out to us. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, and just remember, with sobriety, anything is possible.